AI Picks Podcast, Episode 9. How's it going? I'm Dave, and with me, as always, we have Barrett and Carrie. Barrett and Carrie. Hi, guys. How are you?
Hey, what's up? How are you?
Good.
So, Barrett told me, he said, Dave, what's going on with the description of last week's show? And I was like, I don't know. What do you mean? He's like, it's all messed up. I was like, I look at it, I'm like, I don't see anything wrong with it. And he's like, no, look at the description. And so I did. And so let me share my screen so you can see this, Carrie.
Okay.
Now, as you know, I lean on, AI for pretty much everything in my life at this point. And I let
appropriately.
AI... Yeah, I let AI... You see, can you read that? Is that clear or is it fuzzy? It looks a little fuzzy.
It's I can read it.
Okay, so you see where it says AI description generator down there at the bottom?
It's
I
talking
use
about
that.
Kubrick and...
Read it out loud, Carrie.
This week on the AI Picks podcast, we're talking all things Kubrick. In this episode, we discuss and debate the 1967 film, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. We're much older than we thought, guys. Join us as we discuss everything from the film's historical importance to its mesmerizing visual effects.
Yes.
If you're a Kubrick fan or just interested in movies in general, be sure to give this episode a listen. Did you use Bard? We hope you enjoy it.
Well, Google is Bard, so I think, yes, that probably was Bard. That makes sense.
Bard is terrible. No offense to if it's the one that takes over in the future.
Yeah, then we love you, Bard.
We love you, Bard.
Listen, we watched Primer last week. Primer,
yes, we did.
The independent film. Carrie, let's get a synopsis of this film.
The Office, if there was like time travel. Time travel, The Office. It's basically just a bunch of working stiffs that are scientists, I guess, and they're doing like a creation. I'm confused.
Okay, so
they made a time travel thing. They did it, and then stuff happened.
Yes, that's a really good summary. They made a yes.
So yes, thank you.
Okay, so with this film, let me give an even broader description. So yes, it's a time travel movie. It is. And I caught it really quick. Like, as soon as they started talking about the buildup of fungus or whatever, I was like, okay, so it's time traveling. They've created this thing by accident that lets you kind of slip through time. And I love that premise. I'm into sci-fi. Love sci-fi. Premise is great. And, they do some things really well. And then, I don't know. See, I have some trouble because... It's an hour and 17 minutes, and even with an hour and 17 minutes, it's really easy for my ADD to get me. And I don't know if I missed some key moments or if it was very confusing near the end, because I got, super lost, and I don't know if I should have at the whole, there's segment, basically they're going back and forth in time, one day, literally just to make a bunch of money, right? They're going to make a bunch of money. I don't really fully understand how they were doing that without creating a bunch of duplicates of themselves. But
they apparently were, though. What happens to the duplicates? They were killing one that was. I was confused.
I was okay. So you were confused too.
Yeah, well, they're killing them themselves basically, through.
They were.
Yeah.
Okay, so
is my understanding.
Part. Okay.
So yeah.
So how were they killing themselves?
It is very kind of like. Yeah, I mean, I get you. The way it's kind of portrayed is it makes the details kind of.
It's like the
vague.
It's like the Prestige with less handsome actors.
So
yeah, it is a lot like the Prestige.
They're going back in time. They're going back in time one day. They're figuring out which stock pick to do. They're going back in time one day. They're making the correct stock pick, and then they're killing that future self. Or are they killing the younger self? Which self are they killing?
So I guess they're going back in time. Is that right? I guess we need each other to corroborate.
I thought they were going one day in the future, but then they're. But if they're killing themselves from the past, then they would never be the people in the future because they would be dead, right? So it has to.
I feel like this movie. Okay, so there's really.
Isn't there an Ashton Kutcher movie about the butterfly effect? That's what I feel like's happening.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder if the butterfly effect got its idea from this.
Yeah.
I don't know when. Yeah, when that
it was a little after this, I think. Butterfly effect.
I guess what I like about it is just all the little ideas that it hints at throughout, where it's like. I don't know. Maybe I'm just easily pleased by that kind of stuff, where the talking about just the loop itself, them trying to close the loop. I guess that was at least some discussion in the movie about them essentially trying to cap off their their own like curiosity. You know, he was saying, I'm gonna like alter things. I'm gonna break the machine so that I don't eventually, figure it out basically and create this device that allows this whole thing to have kind of happened.
But then again, okay, so place. But what even happened? Like, so here's where I was like following it pretty well. I was really proud of myself. I'm like, I'm not confused at all yet, all the way up until these kids knock on some cars and make the alarms go off, okay? And then the alarms go off, and then they say, okay, let's go back in time right now and do it. And I don't really know what they were talking about. I must have missed something, because they had something they wanted to do differently now in the middle of the night.
That was like kind of a big plot element that did seem kind of hard to pick apart, because I think they kind of like they didn't show the main event sort of thing. Like, it was one of those like alluding to the event thing, types of scenes. Illuminati, right? Yeah. But it was like the shotgun thing. Do you remember when they were
there was the shotgun at the party, but he never shoots. They kept saying that.
Right. They kept redoing that day over and over again. Was that something from the past
that was to him? That was difficult for me to kind of to understand, I guess. But what I just assumed was that they were just assuming something bad was going to happen, and they're creating a scenario that like diffused that. And so I guess in my mind, that's ultimately why the shotgun didn't go off or whatever. That was the story that you end up hearing, is that like he didn't fire the shotgun. I think that was what they were able to essentially engineer. That's what they
accomplished.
Out of that situation by like, you could hear he was like, I've tried this many times. I guess he's gone through this machine and gone through this scenario so many times to figure out how do I
feel like they could have. I feel like it was like one of those. Sorry, Barrett, I didn't mean to interrupt. I feel like it was one of those movies where the premise was so good they just didn't really deliver with a clear story. Like The Prestige, going back to the duplicate thing with The Prestige, they kind of explained everything that happened in that movie with the duplicates, which was happening throughout the whole movie and we didn't realize. In like the last 5 minutes, really succinctly, in a way that I think was clear, whereas this was, I don't know if it was meant to be open-ended.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's no way that this, like the goal of the filmmakers of this movie, I guess Shane Carruth is like kind of the main guy. There's no way that he would just say, I would imagine that he would just say like, oh yeah, I wanted it to be super clear what was going on all the time. Like I feel like I was able to get a lot out of it from the almost like the emotional complexity or whatever of the scenes, maybe without understanding the full kind of context of everything. I felt like they were able to give you hints at like what kind of like what sort of decisions they have to make, at least at that time, the difficult decisions that they have to make,
Do you think
moment to moment, but like overall, yeah, I don't like have a good grasp. I couldn't tell you what, like events that happened in the movie.
So are you saying that basically he wanted us to be confused? Like, what is with all these filmmakers wanting me to be confused? Like, just give me a clear story. I'm not saying you have to, but like just one time show him go back in time and have all his loved ones die by the shotgun, so that I know there's something he's trying to overcome. And that I'm not just totally lost. And like, I literally rewinded several conversations after that nighttime car hit thing to try to figure out what I missed. I'm like, what did I miss?
Didn't he talk about vaguely about? Wasn't there like a vague something talking about something traumatic that happened in his past that he was trying to get over? Maybe that was it. I don't know.
I don't know why.
I think there's a lot packed into it. It's like, I mean, I would say, the ADD generation, like that. There's quite a bit in this movie. It seems like if maybe I had subtitles turned on or something, like I would probably pick up a fair bit more of just those sorts of details. Like
this being of the era of like 2004, this would have been one that came out on DVD possibly in 2005, 2006. It'd be really nice to hear with like a commentary over it from the director. Like actually, it probably isn't the kind of film that would have that, but it would be really cool to
I think
get
it might.
insight.
Yeah. I think I've like seen talks. Shane Carruth has done talks and stuff about at least his subsequent movie, which if you don't like how vague this one is, definitely don't watch. Upstream Color is the next one that he did.
Never heard of that one.
So you've seen multiple films by him.
Yeah, I mean, I really love Primer. Like, I love this movie. There's just something about it that kind of feels
I think there was really
like
good parts of it. Like, I did like parts of it. I just, for an hour and 17 minutes, like, you could easily add 13 minutes of context, but you didn't want to, I guess, and that's the thing I'm still struggling with. Like,
yeah. I mean, I don't know where the line is between like intent and not getting it right or whatever you might call it, like mistaken. But at the same time, like I would say that the editing and the sound design, like which he did, were like they felt really, really good in this movie. I felt that, at least for me, the pacing just did hold me throughout the whole movie.
There was a moment where I was like, wow, the sound is better than I expected for the video quality in this film. Like somehow the sound is like doing really...
Yeah, it's like super grainy shots, especially at night. And then you've got this like quite nice
really clear
sound,
good audio on all the characters. Okay, so at the beginning, there's 4 characters doing some sort of project, trying to start like a Steve Jobs-like company in a garage. And then 2 of them just kind of disappeared for pretty much the rest of the film.
Well, they told him like we're going to close it up or something and make up.
Yeah, I mean, excuse. I think they were just contributors to a project that they needed some help on, basically almost like in a contractor sort of sense, is how I kind of gathered it, as like they're colleagues maybe, but not like
but not
buddies.
super close,
They're not,
Well,
so they were just basically trying to figure out
it.
reasons to not have to share this with everyone, because it's just a dangerous thing to share.
Yeah. Well, they didn't even know what they had, though, the first half of the film. Well, anyways, I just asked ChatGPT. This is the joy of AI, is we can ask it for help with this.
Help us.
And so I said, help me understand it. So here's what it said to me. It said, plot summary with spoilers. Okay, the experiment. The film begins with 4 engineers, Aaron, Abe, Robert, Philip, working on entrepreneurial tech projects in their spare time. That is what I got out of that beginning part. Like, they're just trying to do like some sort of startup. They have day jobs. Actually, I didn't really catch they had day jobs till later in the film, but I figured it out eventually, that this was like just something they were doing.
Just like their outfits project. And everything, always wearing ties and whatnot.
Yeah, it was like their side hustle. Abe and Aaron, the main characters, accidentally discover an anomaly while testing a device meant to reduce the weight of objects. But why did they want to reduce the weight of objects? I thought that was weird.
That's like, also equally interesting.
I just don't think it doesn't matter. Like, they're engineers. This is to me felt like a super...
But it did, because remember in the beginning they were talking about how they had never invented anything but one thing that actually generated income, and his idea was going to generate income. But it seemed like they didn't know what the marketplace use of that invention was. That's why I say it matters. Okay. Because they were literally talking about how they needed to invent something that had marketplace viability. But they did it, and they didn't know the viability.
Isn't there a pretty good history? I mean, I don't know any specific examples, but some histories of inventions that happened when people were basically trying to invent other stuff.
That's what
and they just went with the flow because that's where the research or the
it's probably
experiments took them.
Well, do you feel like, so it seemed like there was, and all the tech talk gets a little confusing, but did it seem like they accidentally invented something that used less energy than it, like actually regenerated energy? It seemed
it seemed like a recursive energy sort of thing. Yeah, like when he said he turned it up a bit and then turned it down, like I sort of got the sense, oh wow, he's created like a perpetual power kind of situation.
I didn't know where it was going to go from there, because I didn't really read the synopsis ahead of time, so I was like, oh, this could be cool. Like but that's
what I think is cool. Like that, I like that kind of misdirection. And
I really enjoyed, pretty much, I was loving the film almost. There was some stuff that was like, technical talk just to sound smart at the beginning that annoyed me a little bit.
There was some of that.
But really, all the way up until he shows them the time machine, they go back in time the first time. I was loving all that. Really, it was that part where they just had to go back in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden, someone's dad is following them, and I'm like, wait, what? What's happening right now?
Yeah, I don't really understand what was happening there either.
At that point. That's where the film lost me. But before that, I was like totally on board. I was having a great time.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, my overall enjoyment of the movie, like, is weighted to the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, because I like that entrepreneurial,
It's just
aspect, the whole
exciting.
setting.
Like,
Yeah,
The
that's
problem-
fun.
the mystery of it, yeah.
I think the best part of the movie was kind of like the theme, though. I really like the idea of, like, in theory, you think you can discipline yourself to use this, make some money, and live off it and be cool with it and make a certain amount and maybe set yourself up for life. But it just seemed like once you're in that wormhole, once you've done
it's
that,
out.
and that
It's already,
you just can't control it. At that point, you got to go back. I don't even know why. Like, it makes kind of sense even beyond the money. It's just something so unique that you're able to do, and you're the only people in the history of the world to do. It's kind of hard. It would be hard, I guess, not to take full advantage of it, even though it also seemed like it was killing them in some sense. Like their ears were bleeding.
But hold on, was his ear bleeding because he went back in time and punched his boss? Because he said he wanted to do that, and maybe he got punched back. I was a little confused about. I thought the bloody ear could have been like a reaction to something he did and didn't remember he did. Maybe.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Okay, so it says the anomaly leads them to realize they've created a time machine. Abe and Aaron develop a means of using time travel for personal gain. The machine, a box, requires a person to stay inside for as long as they wish to travel back in time. For example, to go back 6 hours, you must stay in the box for 6 hours. See, I don't know if I caught that. Did you? So to go back in time 6 hours, it says you had to stay in the box for 6 hours. That kind of makes sense. I wondered why they stayed in it so long.
I thought they were going like a whole day back, but yeah.
Well,
I thought it pushed them back further than that, but yeah.
Well, that was
didn't,
just an
like,
example.
worry
That
about
was
it
just
too
an
much.
example. It's not necessarily the time they chose. So Abe uses the machine first, going back one day. He reveals the discovery to Aaron and demonstrates it to him. They start using the machine to gain financial advantage by trading stocks with the knowledge of the market's performance. I was on board for all that. I remember all that. I understood all that. I wasn't lost yet. The complications begin is the next bullet point that ChatGPT gave me. And this is, As they continue to use the machine, complications arise. The repeated use of time travel begins to have physical and mental effects on them, and their personal lives start to unravel. Aaron becomes increasingly paranoid and obsessive about controlling their experiments and outcomes. Abe discovers that Aaron has been manipulating their experiments by using a fail-safe machine. That I didn't get. What's a fail-safe machine? Remember you had the
like
fail-safe
another
machine? Yeah. But
But
like
that
it
was like
floor
another,
above.
in a different storage unit and everything.
Okay, so a second time machine he built to go back to the beginning of the experiments to control events more precisely. Which one was Abe? Or which one was Aaron had the black hair and then Abe had the blonde hair?
I think
that's
Abe was blonde
right.
hair. Yeah,
Abe was the TJ
Yeah,
Miller lookalike?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
okay.
that's right. Yeah.
Okay, so Abe's plan. So wait, Abe is the one. Okay, hold on. Abe and Aaron each has been multiple timelines and doubles is where it gets confusing. The narrative becomes increasingly complex as it is revealed that there are multiple timelines and versions of Abe and Aaron. Each has been trying to outmaneuver the other by using the time machine, resulting in a tangled web of events. Did you catch that? There's multiples trying to fight each other, basically.
Yeah. I mean, to a degree, yeah. I mean, it's just chaos, I guess.
Yeah.
Is what I get. Is just all. Yeah. There are multiple versions of these guys, like. Wreaking havoc.
Okay, so Abe is the guy who used the machine first. He was concerned about the consequences. He tries to stop the use of the time machine. He uses a fail-safe machine to go back to the start and tries to dissuade his original self from ever using it. I did not catch that at all. Did you catch that?
Yeah, well, that was what I was talking about, where he was like sort of degrading his own machine and whatnot, and breaking things like
and it was
strategically
to
help dissuade himself from.
Okay. Meanwhile, Aaron has ambitions. Aaron, aware of Abe's plans, intends to use his knowledge of events to control and manipulate them further. He seems more accepting of the moral ambiguities and power the time machine offers.
See, that was the plot that they could have done another hour on that movie and had the battle between the two, going back and forth in time, fighting. See, that could have been.
Well, they left that to your imagination. I feel like they let you imagine the back and forth battle that was happening by like showing you the tape recorder with him listening to himself.
This is one of the few times where a movie needed a little bit more Fast and the Furious, just a little bit, a little bit more family, a little bit more battles with cars on a dam.
Street always wins in a street fight. Yeah,
exactly. It always wins.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so it says the film ends ambiguously. Abe appears resigned to monitoring his original self to prevent the use of the time machine. Aaron, however, seems to continue his experiments, suggesting he plans to build a larger version of the machine. I caught that. Implications of their actions on reality and their own selves are left unresolved. Yeah. He was trying to build like a huge one in a different country or something, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. That's what he's doing in France, I guess, at the last shot. Yeah.
What was the part about the dad following them in the car? I still don't understand.
Did he break?
That.
I thought they alluded that he somehow broke in, or
did he time travel on his own?
He got access. I think to the failsafe one is what I got.
Okay.
Is that he either maybe he was led there by Abe? That I did not get that part, like how he.
Okay, we'll see what it says. It says in Primer there's a subplot involving Rachel, the girlfriend of Abe's friend, and her ex-boyfriend. This is the part that I want to understand. Okay, this subplot. I didn't realize there was a subplot, so this isn't even the plot. So I guess I understood the plot. The plot was not lost on me. That main plot that it just described, that kind of all made sense.
Correct.
It's the subplot that totally screwed me up.
I think you get caught up maybe a little too much with those things, and maybe it ruins your experience.
I want answers to everything,
Yeah, you want answers to everything.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I let that ruin the experience for me. In Primer, there's a subplot involving Rachel, the girlfriend of Abe's friend, and her ex-boyfriend. This subplot is a bit confusing and is intertwined in the main time travel narrative. Here's a breakdown of the subplot, including the incident with Rachel's father following them in a car. The party incident. Early in the film, during a party, Abe overhears a conversation about Rachel's ex-boyfriend showing up at a party with a shotgun a few days prior. This incident hasn't happened yet in the timeline of the story. It's a future event. Intervention using time travel. Later, when Abe and Aaron have already started using the time machine, they decide to use their knowledge of future events to prevent this violent confrontation. They plan to intervene and stop Rachel's ex-boyfriend from causing harm at the party. Rachel's father becomes a part of the subplot when he is seen following Abe and Aaron in a car. This happens after Abe and Aaron have already changed certain events through their time travel. The presence of Rachel's father suggests that he might be aware of the potential threat to his daughter and is keeping an eye on Abe and Aaron, who he possibly sees involved in the situation. Abe and Aaron successfully prevent the altercation at the party. They do this by incapacitating Rachel's boyfriend, ensuring that he doesn't harm anyone. This act is one of the examples in the film where the characters use their knowledge of future events to do what they believe is good. I guess I got all that too, but I just didn't really like that. That's kind of what I figured had happened, but it was like very weird.
Yeah, the incapacitation part, like I almost wish it's like, give me a little bit better shot of their face when they go down. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, so I know who goes down. Sort of thing.
Okay.
Okay, but I feel like it being read out like that, like I can kind of piece that together in my mind, I think. But I'm not bothered by, I guess, all those little things that I didn't quite catch, I feel like.
The question is it like him not expressing it well because he was a young filmmaker, or was it intentional? Was it intentionally as vague as it is? Or as difficult?
Maybe it's vague because it's just kind of some, like, less consequential. But I mean, that kind of it doesn't necessarily feel inconsequential, I would say, as a.
And I guess maybe
subplot.
we're just used to having so much explained exactly to us that it's weird when it isn't. So.
Yeah, because I mean, if we take that to as far the opposite as possible, you know, is it like how far can you take that? Like, do you want it to be as far opposite as that? Like, do you want things just so literally spoon-fed or every word kind of delivered? You know, because I guess that is the opposite. Like, where is the sweet spot? You know, and it's a hard one to. I don't know. Like
ChatGPT just pointed out something we're not thinking. Wait, what's that noise? A plane?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's probably.
That's right. ChatGPT just pointed something out to me because I'm having a side conversation with ChatGPT right now, and I asked it. I said, "Was this intentionally vague?" Search the web for the answer because I wanted it to try to find an interview, not make an assumption. And it came back with this, which I think is really interesting. The director, Shane Carruth, crafted Primer with an extremely low budget of $7,000. Mm-hmm. That's like less than the price of a camera, which inevitably influenced the film's presentation and style. This budget constraint meant that Carruth had to be creative and resourceful in his storytelling, possibly contributing to the film's dense and complex nature. Which instantly to me, that's like, well, that's why they didn't go back in time and show the shoot 'em up scene 7 different ways, because that would have cost more money. You'd have to get more actors for longer. You'd have
totally,
yeah.
That for that
the
scenario,
biggest,
that's a great explainer for that.
That's probably a huge part of like the scenes I felt like were missing. Well, yeah, in Butterfly Effect, they had a $500 million budget or whatever.
Yeah, right. And I guess credit to the movie, like it's so easy to forget. I guess it's easy to give it these critiques because we're sort of believing that the movie is just this is a very competent.
It does
movie.
add to it.
It really. It's
I like the
impressive.
fact that they were probably just renting out that storage unit
for one day.
Yeah, like I think because it reminds me of like I ran a storage unit place for a short time, and they would have a couple businesses working out of the storage units. So it's funny, like the people might have thought it was an actual business going on, but they were filming
or borrowed it because I saw in the end credits it just like has a special thanks, so maybe they just asked
they just
for
knew
it,
a dude who had units. Yeah,
when you're talking $7,000,
you got to be
that's
creative.
so great.
Really,
I'm like so blown away by $7,000.
Yeah, I forgot it was that. I thought it was like 100,000, but that was like
for the film now.
Absolutely.
Well, what's 7,000? What's 7,000 in
it's gotta be
2003?
all film stock too.
Dude, it's still nothing. It's like 10,000. It's nothing. Like
it's not.
Nowadays, I mean, just a camera that I want to use to film my cooking videos is $3,000. That's half the budget almost, right? Like if I wanted a Sony FX3 or something, I'd have to pay $3,500. That's half the budget for that. It's like, okay, that just totally changed. Well, they had to get all those actors. They probably had their buddies in the crowd.
I'm
like, hey,
sure
Bob, I need
there
you
was
to help
friends.
with this. Like,
Bob, you want to be in a big time movie? And then
but dude, he was. Right. He actually
kind of.
Was. Like,
that won awards apparently in Cannes. Or
I remember
Sundance?
when I was at the mall. Me and Tina had just gotten married. She worked at Chick-fil-A. And I was like going to visit her at the mall. I used to walk there. It was like 4 miles, but it was something I did for fun. I'd walk there and listen to an audiobook. And I get there and this guy like just sees me sitting in the food court and he comes up and he's like this total like Hollywood bro. He's like, dude, you want to be in my movie? And I'm like, eh. He's like, you're real buff. You look like you'd be a great player in it. And I'm like, maybe. And then like, a little later I kind of felt like he was hitting on me. But at the end of the day, like I didn't want to do it because he was telling me, oh, you're going to be famous. It's going to be huge. And I was like, this guy's full of crap. Like, I'm sure they face that same kind of hurdle. Hey, maybe he was the guy. Maybe he was Shane Carruth.
Because I mean, odds are
that's why you're not Ant-Man.
I mean, most things are.
Yeah. Or he was shooting an adult film. That's why he kept complimenting my muscles. So
yeah, totally.
I had muscles back then.
Art is art. Art is art.
Yeah. Okay, so I do respect the film more. Like, if you really think about a $7,000 budget, they may have had
that
no
explains
choice.
A lot. Yeah, that explains a lot of why it was confusing.
They literally they rented a hotel room that was set A. They rented a storage container that was set B, and they used their own house that was set C. Right,
like right. That. And then they just wandered around a park.
Wandered around in a crappy car.
Pretty cool. I mean, I will say it's like, man, it makes me want to make a movie that
honestly, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, and like
with the budget like that, it's just
so
cool.
If the story is good, if the story and the content is good, people will watch anyways. Like I do my cooking videos, I still can't get my image to not look incredibly fuzzy. I've got like the worst looking cooking videos on YouTube, but people watch it. People watch it. One of these days it'll look good, but it doesn't. It looks horrible. But people watch it because it's the rest of it's good. The sound is good, the storytelling is good, and just like with this, like even though the video didn't look that good. I mean, nowadays, what's so funny is nowadays people make their films look like that on purpose and spend $300 million. Mm-hmm. He just had no choice.
Right.
They don't realize they can just go to the thrift store and get a little camcorder.
I mean, he was pained by using that camera. It's kind of funny. Like, he used a Panasonic GH2 to film his next movie. Which is like, I've got one right over there. Like, it's just this little, it's old, now obviously.
Is it a film camera?
Like, no, it's just
it's like a
little
Micro Four Thirds, like DSLR.
Yeah, it's a digital DSLR, and not I guess mirrorless technically kind of camera, but it's this tiny little thing that's like, it was one of the first, cameras like that I guess had this unlocked, sort of mode, I guess, that does this supercharged kind of raw shooting, and I just read stuff about it at the time, and like it's just kind of fascinating to see going from 16 millimeter or Super 16 or whatever it was for primer to switch to a GH2
Well, it says he did use
Super
16 millimeter film stock for primer.
Mm-hmm.
So what camera would that be?
Just some analog. I mean, it could be anything from the 70s or the,
Really?
whatever. It could be anything. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild. And yeah. Anyways, that does make me like the movie better. Like I said, I now that I've read the synopsis, like, I think the reason I was struggling with the film is because I felt like I missed stuff, even though I tried to not miss stuff. But what ChatGPT has just ensured me of is I missed nothing. I caught it all. It just, there wasn't everything there. It wasn't all there.
Yeah, and it was just seeing like a puzzle basically that has kind of some pieces missing. They
didn't include all the pieces, maybe because of budget constraints, maybe for any other reason. Oh, okay, here we go. ChatGPT did find it. Ariflex 16SR camera was used. So it's like an old Arri. Super old Arri. That's a good camera, though.
I mean, yeah,
it's a good
you're
camera.
Not going to go wrong.
It's still like the best camera in the industry, but it's much newer. There's much newer models. Carrie, you look confused.
Yeah, I'm not, I feel like I'd be interested if I understood.
Yeah. So, all right. So knowing that, I can now say that the movie goes up a little bit for me. I would give it like probably a 6. I don't think I can go higher than that. I need our scores just for ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Carrie?
Gosh, probably a 4.
Okay. And Beryl, you said you love it, so it's like a 9?
Yeah, 9.
I wanted more Transformers.
Yeah, there wasn't enough Transformers. There wasn't enough rappers going into space in cars.
And Transformers is also intentionally vague. Like, we don't know if Bumblebee goes to the bathroom, for example. They never explained that.
I always wondered that. Yeah, I always wondered that. So
don't some of them, like...
They make jokes.
They probably
make, like,
do.
bathroom jokes. Yeah,
relieve
really
themselves at some point. Yeah, I remember that. I remember thinking, it's gotten to an interesting place.
That's when you know you've taken Transformers too far.
Yeah.
Okay, so Carrie, have you been watching anything else? Barrett, have you been watching anything else while we've been away?
That is a good question. I was thinking about that, and there is a copious amount of me not watching stuff the last little while. Honestly, I saw a bunch of movies.
Yeah, me as well. I'm definitely. Yeah, I've been bad at that.
Well,
lately.
Is that bad or good? So I've been also way too productive. Carrie's actually coming to my house tomorrow, Barrett. And so
cool.
In anticipation of his visit, I've been doing a bunch of work so I wouldn't have to do as much work while he was here.
I've been really busy too.
Yeah. And so like I'm like writing calendar notes in my iPhone where it's like, here's all the tasks I need to get done each day. And it's literally the whole day. It's like I'm setting my alarm for 5:30. I'm working nonstop until like 12, and then I go to bed and do it again. So I've basically been watching no TV. That's not entirely true though, because some of the stuff I'm doing I can put on TV in the background. Unfortunately, I just have been watching a lot more Twilight.
Why don't
Zone.
we? I don't think we. I did watch Twilight Zone because.
What did you think?
Cool.
I liked it. It was really well done. What I got a kick out of is how old it is. I mean, how good it looked for how old it was. Black and white. First episode I watched was like 1959. I mean, you could tell by the way they spoke and the way they acted. But still, it was really well done. Good stories. It's something I could definitely see myself getting more into.
You watched like 3 episodes? What?
I just watched. I watched 2. I watched the one where the gentleman broke his glasses and was stuck after the end of the world and had all he wanted to do was read. And apparently in the 50s, if you read, you were like
a lieabout.
You were just lazy, which is the exact
reading was
opposite.
Lazy back in the 50s.
Yeah, the wife was getting super mad after he worked all day. By the way, he had a job. He wasn't not working. He just wanted to come home and
Sitting
read
around all day on your books.
I will not be married to a man who sits there and reads all day. And she took his French poetry book and like just crossed out all the poems just to screw with him. Like
wow. Yeah,
she was aggressively abusive.
Yeah, she was really abusive to him. I agree.
Well, okay, so he gets in trouble for reading. Barrett, have you seen this episode? Do you know what we're talking about?
No, I don't think I have.
So what happens is throughout the whole thing, they do such like masterful artistry with the filmmaking too, because they're constantly showing close-up shots of his face with his glasses that are clearly hugely magnifying glasses, like big Coke bottles. His eyes are huge when they like point the camera at him, so they're clearly magnifying in an immense fashion. And like, there's even a moment where he takes his glasses off and they show you through his eyes, and it's just all blur. It's all bokeh or whatever you'd call it. It's just all fuzzy. It's all fuzzy. Like, he's clearly blind as a bat. And he likes to sneak down to the safe because he works at the bank for lunch. So he sneaks downstairs to the safe to read his 1 hour to read a day and eat his lunch. And while he's down there, a nuclear bomb goes off and the world gets destroyed. And he comes out like all confused, and he's walking around a wasteland, post-apocalyptic wasteland. Everyone's dead, everyone's gone. And as he's walking around, he finds a gun. I love that part, Carrie, where he finds the gun and he puts it in his mouth. He's like, "What's the point of living?" And then he gets distracted by is that when he sees the library?
The library sign.
He sees a library.
It's a library, yeah.
And he's in love with reading, and he's like, "Oh crap! Wait a minute, I could read." And he walks over and starts picking up books.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
It's like this glorious moment. Oh my gosh, I can finally read. He makes
they had
stacks
established
of books.
that he found food and stuff, so he was set for life, basically, with food.
He said, "I have food, but who cares with no people? Why even live?" Right? He's talking about that while he's about to shoot himself. But then he sees the books, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, a reason to live." And then they cut away, and he's got these stacks of books on all the library stairs. It's like January, February, March, April. And
he was organizing them like a big old nerd.
Reading.
Yeah.
And he sits down, and he leans over, and his glasses fall, and they break. And they show you that he can't see a thing, and he's just sitting there crying. It's not fair. I had all the time in the world, and it's just not fair. And then credits. Oh, it's so good.
There's a couple holes to the premise, but I like that general idea. First off, if
irony.
Are glasses that fragile back then? I don't think they are.
I don't know. I wasn't around.
And if that's what I'm saying. And if they would fall over and break, wouldn't he have a strap or something around his neck? You think he would have prepared for that? Also, couldn't you pick up pieces of the glass to see stuff? Would suck.
No, the library wasn't intact. It was, but somehow the books were. The library was
if that many books are intact, there's got to be some reading glasses around somewhere, right? Yeah.
I'd feel like he could find some sort of some sort of glass place where he would get something. I don't know. I probably think.
Anyway, that's
why I thought it was an active detail that they were trying to show us how bad his eyes were, so that he wouldn't be able to find another pair.
He wouldn't. Yeah, if these break,
what they were going
you're done,
for. Yeah,
essentially. Yeah.
Anyways, it was just an irony. What was the second one you watched? This is not supposed to be Twilight Zone cast.
The William Shatner one, where he's on the plane with the gremlin thing, with the monster thing.
Someone on the wing. Yeah.
Someone on the wing. Someone on the wing. Yeah. And it turns out there really was something on the wing. That's the one that I had heard I was familiar with. There's probably a couple other episodes that are canon that I don't even realize are Twilight Zone. But
if you go watch the 150 Twilight Zone original Twilight Zone episodes, you'll be like, "Yep, seen this story copied, seen this story copied, seen this." Like every one of them has been copied 30 times.
It's like a blueprint. Yeah. They are really solid.
Yeah. Oh, well,
I did watch, and I know this is somewhat Twilight Zone related. Because you did not like his version of Twilight Zone, Jordan Peele. And I watched Get Out, which I'd watched clips of on YouTube.
I've seen it.
I like Get Out quite a bit.
That was one of his better movies.
I like his stuff for the amount of detail he puts in and the twists and stuff. It's kind of like an easy reader, but it's like a complicated movie, but easy to understand, and then you can go back and watch YouTube things about things you missed. Those are fun to me.
I liked his recent one. Movies. I liked his recent one better with the spaceship.
Nope. Yeah, Nope.
Yeah, I liked that one better. That one was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I've seen Us, Nope, and Get Out. I think I like Get Out the best, but Nope would be second. Us was average, a little better than average. It had a lot of cool details, but I didn't love the story as much overall.
You know what I think it'd be fun? I think it'd be fun. Okay, so first of all, Carrie, we want to, next time we get together to record, we're going to try to record 2 episodes just because we have so much going on. So we're going to ask ChatGPT to pick 2 new movies for us. Okay, right. 2 new movies. And I don't know if Barrett can do this. I think the second movie we do should be something that will be in the theaters, which means Barrett would have to go to the theater. I don't know if he'll be willing. When's the last time you've been to a theater?
Recently, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know, recently-ish.
So if you
Oppenheimer,
had
I guess, was the latest
if you had 2 to 3 weeks, you could probably get to a theater and watch whatever.
If it's worth.
It's worth.
No.
See, this is where I thought we might run into a problem.
I won't try and.
So I thought we should ask it to search the web, scour the web for something Barrett would like. We're gonna get specific. It knows your preferences.
Ferrari.
So maybe it'll pick that.
Yeah. If it's tell it pick a movie, but we want to see Ferrari.
Is that already out? Is that already out?
It is. It is out. Yeah.
That
I'm just not sure if
yeah, have it be. Just pick Ferrari. Make it easy because we know Barrett will do it.
Movie Barrett will like.
See if it does it. Maybe. Maybe
it knows. I want you guys will like it as well.
I want to see it. I forgot about that one actually.
Let's see if it's good at this, though. Like, because this is kind of cool. Like, if people know that this works, then they can literally get ChatGPT to pick what they go see. So I said, we want to watch a movie that will be in theaters this month. It needs to be a movie Barrett will like. Use what you know of his preferences, plus the web reviews of what's coming out to pick a film. Now, remember, I pasted all the preferences so far, and it knows what kind of movie Barrett likes. Let's see. Moment of truth.
Knows.
It's just like, nope, nothing. Barrett will not like any films coming out in January.
Well, it's picking one in January, though, so Ferrari came out last month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Self-Reliance, a comedy thriller about a man who joins a game where hunters try to kill him, but he discovers a twist. They can only attack him when he's alone.
I saw the preview for that.
Does it look dumb?
It might be online, too, though.
It might be. Let's take a look at it. Self-Reliance 2023. Given the option to participate in a life or death reality game show, 1 minute.
It actually looks kind of funny.
Yeah, it might be streaming.
And I might be streaming though.
Is it streaming? Let's see. Self-Reliance will be available on Hulu. Okay, so I guess we just watch it with Hulu then. So I guess you don't have to go to the movies, Barrett. It didn't do a great job. Should I call it out on that? No, I'm gonna call it out on that. It needs to be.
It needs to be Ferrari
theaters. That movie is older. Boom. Well, I guess maybe it's a new. It's new. It is new, so it got that right.
Yeah.
It did get that right. So maybe we could go with that. Okay, so a suitable recommendation might be Roadkill. It's a thriller set in 1983 about a young woman who, while lost in a rural county, encounters a hitchhiker and a fugitive killer. Why are you so into?
Yeah, dude. Why do you want to just see the gruesome serial?
Movies about the killing.
Well, let's see who directed it.
Reminds me of Al Pacino in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
This isn't even like a movie. Like, it's not even a movie. I don't
Scarface,
see it.
you mean? Or?
No, sorry, I totally derailed. It was
not even a
funny
thing.
too. Like Al Pacino's character in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he's like that studio exec.
Oh yeah,
he's just
yeah.
I just love the films with the killing. Just like obsessed with just.
Okay, it's terrible.
Those are entertaining, man.
I mean,
it's not even recommending movies in theater. It's not even recommending movies in theater. All right, so I do like. I think its first one could be good. Self-Reliance. It is new for January. And we can watch it at home, so that's actually a win. So we'll do that one in 2 weeks. Now, maybe I should text you guys that so you don't forget, because it's not a very unique movie title, is it?
Self-Reliance, I appreciate that. Guys. You know me well.
Okay, yeah. So I was thinking, what do we want to prompt it for movie number 2? The movie we do next week. Is there a specific thing you want to prompt it?
A genre, or maybe like a?
It would be kind of cool. Oh, what we could do is say, yeah, actually, let's do that. Let's pick a genre. Carrie, how about you pick the genre? We tried to get Barrett happy with the first one. Now we're going to try to get Barrett
exactly.
happy.
Let's do something like history related.
Oh, like history, but docudrama, basically. Not like a documentary, but
not a documentary, like a docudrama, like Napoleon, but not crappy.
Can you pick another film?
Hey, ask it that. No, say, we want a Napoleon that's not crappy.
But Napoleon wasn't crappy. So
for Carrie. Say, Carrie thought Napoleon was crappy.
To be did you though, Carrie?
It wasn't crappy. I was exaggerating, but it wasn't. It was definitely not as good as it needed to be.
You can put in parentheses, I'm sort of joking.
It needs to be a docudrama, kind of like the new Napoleon movie, but less crappy. Good?
just see how it handles that.
Doing research with Bing.
I know Bard would just give us recipes right now. Bard would be like,
have you tried
Bury Me Chicken?
Keto
Check out this YouTube video on Bury Me Chicken.
Yeah. It's struggling with this one. New docudrama movies of... I'm not really into docudrama. What is it? Did I make that up? Is that a thing?
I don't even know if that's a thing, dude.
Docudrama.
For Carrie, who seems to enjoy docudramas, because you just told me that, I recommend Society of the Snow. This film is a dramatization of the true story of an Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571, which crashed in the Andes in 1972. The survivors had to resort to extreme measures to stay alive in one of the most hostile environments on the planet. This movie combines elements of drama, thriller, true story, which could appeal to Carrie's preferences. How's that sound, Carrie?
I've seen... I don't know if I've seen this one, though, but I've seen similar stuff to that.
So this is on Netflix. Yeah. I saw it on Netflix the other day with Tina, and we almost watched it, but then we realized it was dubbed, and I was like, do I really want to watch... Do I want to read a movie right now?
Yeah, or watch it. Watch that one. That one, But if you want to watch it,
let's watch it.
Is it subtitled or dubbed?
Either or. You get to choose.
Oh, well, dubbed
either. Okay.
Yeah, you can use dubbed or subtitled. Carrie, we can watch it together when you're here.
Alrighty.
It's on Netflix, and we'll just watch it. So I just texted you the 2 movies. Remember, guys, if you're following along, watch Society of the Snow, and we'll talk about that one next week. And then the week after, we're going to talk about Self-Reliance, which is on Hulu. I hate all the freaking things you got to subscribe to watch a movie nowadays. It's exhausting.
True, dude.
Yeah, it's like free trials upon free trials upon free trials. Insane.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we tried to get away from like 1,000 channels, and now we've got it.
We just have to pay for each individual channel.
It's worse now. It's literally worse now. I almost want to go get cable. Cable's got nothing on it. So it's like you can't win with that either.
Man.
Although if you have a cable subscription, you get the other subscriptions, right? But you don't get
Sometimes
Hulu.
There's package deals. Yeah, they typically are working with somebody, but not all. They just split everything up. Everybody wants a piece of the pie. They just want a little sliver.
All right, so we've got two movies. Now, okay, let's go check out the comments on our latest video. Have you checked them out yet?
Dude, we had comments?
Oh, none. Okay. So, cool. Thanks, guys.
We had none, really?
We ended early. We had one from my leg. Was I the only one that missed the memo and watched Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Sword and Destiny?
That's awesome. I'm so glad one person watched that.
Yes. Oh, my leg. Did you like it? Give us your review in the comments down below.
Exactly. I feel like
an honorary member of our show.
I feel like that's like a good merch opportunity for the podcast, like AI Picks Podcast. The Sword of Destiny or whatever.
I love the idea that he just like went and watched that and then came to the show like, wow, that was brutal. I can't wait to hear what they say about it.
I suffered through that because I am one of the real ones, one of the 100 people who watch this. And we let them down.
You did.
I'm sorry.
I will say, like, if you watch Primer, can you comment down below? Let us know what you thought, if you think we're on point, off point, or anything like that. We want your opinion, your feedback on Primer. We can talk about it in the next episode.
Yes.
Good deal? Good deal.
Yes.
We're going to end it, though, because we don't have any comments, so you get a short episode. This is your punishment. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Later, guys.